This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with my weekly Wrestling Observer review. I was supposed to do this last night as a 420 Wrestling Observer review, but I was having some problems logging into StreamYard. But I just want to give a shout out to Crystal Gardens, who sent me a whole package of weed. They are I guess, a grower here in Canada where it's legal. And the one I tried last night that I did by myself, since there was no live stream, was this blackberry, which, as you can see, it's very dark. It was very smooth, and I enjoyed it. So thank you to Crystal Gardens for sending me that. That's one of many kinds. Hurricane, sorry you were waiting. It was StreamYard. I couldn't log on to StreamYard. It was saying that there was technical issues. Mike Piper's sleeping. I'm going to jump right into the news because I got to go to the gym earlier tonight. SmackDown did a 0.55 rating last night on Fox. I still haven't seen the numbers for NXT or AEW on Wednesday. I think Thanksgiving has affected it. Bronson Rex Steiner, the son of Rick Steiner, got a WWE tryout recently. He is a former college football running back for Kenshaw State. He did not make the NFL. I looked at him. He looks like a good athlete. He carries the Steiner name. I can't see why they wouldn't hire him. Lacey Ryan, who I did an interview with recently, she's part of the United Wrestling Network, also had a tryout with WWE. And according to the Wrestling Observer, she was the standout at the tryout. So as long as she passes the medical and all the pre-contract stuff, it looks like Lacey Ryan will probably be getting signed. So check out my interview with her here on the Hannibal TV. The Globe and Mail here in Canada is reporting that Rogers Centre, formerly known as the Toronto Sky Dome, is likely going to be demolished and replaced with a smaller stadium. There's been WrestleMania 6 there. I think it was WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania? There was a later WrestleMania there too with Hogan and Rock. I don't remember which one it was. And tons of Raws during the Attitude Era, back when they could get a stadium-sized crowd on occasion for Raws. Shane Helms, who there's an interview with on this channel, and Fit Finlay have been hired back as producers for WWE. As I reported last week, WWE settled a multitude of different lawsuits regarding securities fraud and insider trading related to Saudi Arabia and the Middle East TV deal, as well as the October 31st Crown Jewel event, an alleged hostage situation. They settled for $39 million, which is the largest settlement they've ever settled for in the company's history. The previous record was $18 million, related to the death of Owen Hart. And I'll pin it to the top of the comments again after I'm done this. But Hugo Savinovich, the former WWE announcer, who's a good friend of mine, actually told me the whole story of what he heard from his contacts about the hostage situation last year when it happened. So I'll pin that link to the top of the comments for people that want to hear what allegedly happened. And the City of Warren Police and Fire Retirement System, who owns stock in the WWE, as well as some other parties, all had identical lawsuits against WWE related to this. And it's believed that WWE's insurance carriers will actually cover this money. This week's Raw for the post-Survivor Series Raw did a 0.57 rating. SmackDown last week did a 0.67. So this week was 0.55 for the Survivor Series follow-up. So it's actually down a lot this week. Ms. and Mrs. had a 0.13 rating. Total Bellas had a 0.12 rating. The November 11th AEW show in Jacksonville drew 200 fans. The same night, they had 100 fans for NXT, which is the most that the building can hold. The November 18th AEW in Jacksonville did a little bit better, 450 fans. And November 18th in Orlando, NXT had 100 fans. Bob Ryder, who was with TNA since the start and still with Impact, died this past week on November 25th. He had been going through cancer chemotherapy. As I said when I first reported it, I dealt with him a little bit back when I used to book Impact talent for Great North Wrestling back between like 2007 and 2010 during their more popular years when they were actually getting better ratings than WWE is getting now back when they were on Spike. It was very business whenever I talked to him. He was head of TNA talent relations at one point too. But he must not have liked me too much as a wrestler because he never responded to any of my inquiries regarding employment there back around those years when they were popular. Dwayne Gill, who is 61 now, better known as Gilbert, had a heart attack on November 25th. PJ Black, who used to be in WWE, I forget his WWE name, he had a compound fracture on his left ankle last week. They also did give some notes regarding 2019. The biggest WWE attendance for 2019 was 69,000 for WrestleMania at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. The biggest UFC crowd for 2019 was 57,127 in Australia at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. As far as crowds of more than 15,000 in 2019, WWE only had 5 crowds of 15,000 or more in 2019. UFC had 11 crowds of 15,000 and more. CMLL had 2, which is pretty good. AAA had 1. New Japan had 2. NCAA wrestling had 6, which is pretty impressive. And boxing had 3 crowds, over 15,000. Now to get into the UFC news, Dana White is going to have a crowd for the McGregor versus Dustin Poirier fight in Abu Dhabi on January 23rd. It's likely that Saudi Arabia may have paid them a fee similar to what WWE pays Crown Jewel. Abu Dhabi may have paid UFC a fee similar to what WWE was paid by Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel to have that fight there in front of a crowd. McGregor is already looking at having a boxing match against Manny Pacquiao, no matter what the outcome of his UFC fight is. By the way, tonight, there's a boxing match between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. It is an exhibition where supposedly if there's a cut or if it looks like one of the fighters are going to try and knock the other out, the commission supervising the fight is supposedly going to step in and stop it. Mike Tyson is 54. Roy Jones is 51. There will be no judges, no official winner or loser, and it's basically a sparring session. A lot of people forget that Mike Tyson actually did not have good performances in his last professional fights, and it's now like 15 years since. But there's a lot of interest in that. There's more interest in that Tyson versus Roy Jones fight, honestly, than any other wrestling or MMA pay-per-view fight from now until the rest of 2020. Of course, the Thriller app paid $50 million to purchase the rights to distribute this Tyson pay-per-view. Tyson is guaranteed $10 million. Jones, it's not known exactly how much he's been guaranteed, but it's thought to be around there. But it could also be lower. And if the pay-per-view revenue tops a certain amount, they might get bonuses. I'll get into some of your questions. That's the main news for today. We are on Twitch now too, by the way, at Great North Wrestling. I also stream these updates on Twitch. And we're at Instagram and Twitter at the Hannibal TV, as well as Facebook at the Hannibal TV. Fart Factor says Tyson versus Jones predictions. I want Tyson to win because, as I've told this story a bunch of times, I was almost going to fight Roy Jones back. I think it was 2016. Could have been 2000. Or no, it was 2016. But the Arizona Athletic Commission wouldn't allow it. But I still hold some resentment towards Jones for that. My good buddy Carlos. Our gym's open here. They are open here, but only for an hour a day. You're only allowed to train an hour a day. Costs the same, but you can only train 1 hour. And they also kick you out 5 minutes before the hour is up. And you have to make an appointment. So it's better than being closed. I'm still doing my outdoor workouts. But it's brutal for an athlete like me, who, by the way, I'm still in the best shape of my life, but these conditions suck. Hello to comedian Eric. Victor Murphy says, what's up? Hurricane Maverick says WWE is only going to get worse. I really hope they continue to get worse because with them not doing live events, I want other promotions like SWE Fury to do better. There will be room for other promotions to possibly become territories in the future, I believe. And I'm looking forward to SWE Fury, December 12th. I'll be there in Greenville, Texas, covering the event that Mark Henry is going to be there, Charlie Haas, Tim Storm, many beautiful ladies of wrestling, which I've posted a lot of these matches, including champion Miranda Gordy and the Blood Hunter with Kevin Sullivan are going to be there. Lots of stars. Teddy Long is the commissioner. Looking forward to that SWE Fury event, as well as the North American Wrestling Association event, December 19th in Daytona, that I'll be covering, featuring Davey Boy Smith Jr., the Nasty Boys, Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Heart, the Blood Hunter, and Kevin Sullivan, Alofa, the former head shrinker, and many more stars such as Amber Nova taking on another lady for the women's championship. Black Pill Jesus says WWE is a garbage product. Carlos says, I think he's talking about Bob Ryder was a very liked man. He had his share of controversy with some weird stuff, but overall, I don't know him at all, so I can't comment on that. Hurricane Maverick again. When am I going to get out of the Great North? Well, I'm sick of it here. There's already snow outside here. I've got the Texas backdrop. I might actually just stay in Texas over the holidays and maybe just also cover the January 2nd SWE Fury event. I wish I could stay in the United States the whole winter. If anyone knows a good place for me to rent for the winter in Texas, I'll stay there all winter. Michael Mercury says they are allowed knockouts now. I do not know about that, Michael Mercury, because it is an exhibition that is not sanctioned by the commission. It's not a professional fight. Because for one thing, is there even testing? Because if you look at Mike Tyson's body at his age, I don't know if there's if that's a natural body for his age. Double S says he's bringing a bottle of Screech to Daytona. Get ready. I will not ever touch Screech again. Hockey Talk Man gave me Screech. Thanks for the $10 tip, by the way, Double S. You might be the winner of the sponsorship for the Hannibal TV show next week. Because so far, that's the highest tip I've got this week. Screech can make you go absolutely crazy. Beater Carr says, wow, $50 million for a sparring match. Carlos says Tyson has gained a lot of interest with his appearance in AEW. I don't know about that. He is really popular these days, and a lot of people have forgotten about his losses before he called it quits. I think he even quit his last boxing match. He didn't want to continue. But I don't know if AEW really made him that much more popular. I think his appearances on Joe Rogan and the advent of the internet and YouTube had a big factor in it. Sam Lentz does not like the lockdown. None of us do. None of us do. I'm really sick of it. Fart Doctor says, what is Screech? It's similar to tequila, as in it has like effects. It's worse than regular alcohol as far as it can make you go absolutely crazy and do foolish stuff and blackouts and have absolutely no recollection of it. They call it being screeched in. The Honky Tonk Man got me really screwed up on that stuff once. The second time I drank it with him, which you can see us drinking it in this video if you search up Honky Tonk Man After Dark shoot interview. The second time was better. I ended up having an amazing night the second time that included making out with maybe 5 or 6 girls that were all hot in the same evening. But I still wouldn't touch it again because the first time I had it, I'm really lucky I didn't end up in jail. And I'm not going to get into that situation. That was like in 2008. So it's been a long time. And the second time I had it was in like 2009. So I'll stay away from Screech. I'll stick with my red wine. So have a good night, everyone. I'm going off to pump some iron. Make sure you subscribe and click notifications so you don't miss any of the live streams on this channel.